Hello, in this video we'll be going over how to tune your violin. So tuning your violin is extremely important because if the violin is not tuned properly, then none of the notes will sound correct. Now, please just do your best with this video. If you have any issues, I will be there to, of course, help you and guide you. But this is just so you get a good baseline so we don't spend all of our first lesson tuning your violin. So our violin has 4 strings, and before we tune, we need to know the names of this string. So the highest string is your E string. The string next to that is A. The string next to that is D. And then our last string is G. Some tuners often use numbers to accompany these letters, so if yours does, E is E5, A is A4, D is D4, and G is G3. Also, before you start, make sure that your tuner is set to 440Hz. Just look around on your tuner if you see any numbers or HZ. If not, that's fine. Your tuner might not have it, but if it does, it's important that it's set to 440 because if it's not, that will change the pitch of your notes. So there are 2 basic ways that you can adjust the pitch of your instrument. With the fine tuners, which are down here, and with the pegs, which are up here. So I would suggest try to use the fine tuners as much as possible because they are easier to use. They adjust the pitch in smaller increments and you're less likely to break a string when using the fine tuners. However, with that being said, many violins, when they first are set up, are pretty out of tune, so you will have to use the pegs. The pegs are slightly harder to use because they adjust the pitch more, and you do run the risk of breaking the string a little bit when you use them. But if it happens, really don't worry about it. It's happened to me. I've had a string hit me in the face before, so consider it a rite of passage. So I would suggest tuning your A string first. And if you need to tune it with the peg, you're going to place your violin facing you, and it's going to be the peg on your right side on the top, so this one. To make the string or the pitch higher, turn the peg away from you, and to make the string or the pitch lower, turn the peg towards you. That's the same for all of the pegs. If you need to tune the D string, it will be the peg on the left side on the top. The G string is the peg on the left side on the bottom, and the E string is the peg on the right side on the bottom. Now, if you turn your peg and notice that it slips back, first of all, don't worry, that's okay, that's normal. It just means you need to press your peg into the instrument after you turn it. So I turn my peg. After I do that, I'm going to take my other hand, put it over here, and press the peg really hard into the instrument so that the peg doesn't slip. If you're having the opposite problem and your peg won't turn at all, take a pencil and rub a little bit of pencil lead in there, and that should grease the peg and get it going. There's also something that you can buy called peg dope or peg compound if your peg really isn't moving. For the fine tuners, you can see which ones correspond to which string. So I obviously only have one. This is E string, A string, D string, and G string. And to adjust the pitch here, to make it higher, you're going to turn the fine tuner clockwise or to the right. And to make the pitch lower, you're going to turn the fine tuner counterclockwise or to the left. So again, the pitches of the strings are E, A, D, and G. So let's say, for example, you're tuning your A string, and you see that your tuner is telling you that it's not an A, but a B. That means that the string is too high. So same thing, if you were turning the E string and you saw an F on your tuner, that means it's too high. It's gone so high that it's on the next pitch or the next letter name. So that means you need to adjust lower. And the same is true on the opposite way. So say you're tuning the A string and you're seeing the note G or the note F, something that goes down or lower in the alphabet, that means your string is too low and you need to adjust it upwards.